With the recent tension mounting on account of what President Donald Trump talked about, that he would definitely attack terrorists in Nigeria if, and I repeat, if they continue killing cherished Christians. With the federal government coming to say, well, President Trump doesn't have any right to attack Nigeria, would it be the best way to in every way diffuse the current tension? Well, anyway, with no tension in mind, I want to quickly welcome you to another lovely time on Atlantic TV. It's Viewpoint, and as always, my name is Michael Gobadia.
Welcome to Viewpoints on Atlantic TV. And you know how we do it right here on Viewpoints? I will start with the dailies, we'll go straight into the dialogue, and the news comes in, and of course, trending. And today we have loads of gist for you on trending, talking about marriages, divorces, and all of those things on social media. And of course, you know, you can engage with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Well, we need to go on this quick break, and once we return, the dailies will be next.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Well, for review today, we have 6 papers. We have the Punch, the Vanguard, the Daily Trust, the Guardian, the Nation, and also you would know that I would definitely have no other but the Tribune to really make things up today on the show. And I always enjoy starting with the Punch, so you do know the Punch is where I'm going first. And on the Punch newspaper this morning, the leading story reads, Governors battle Wike as PDP factions jostle for control. Well, right after that, police seal PDP headquarters, Wike-backed chair moves in, Damagon block fumes, tension ahead, convention. And I'll just tell you to read more of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Fresh travel tax scheme, worth about $1 billion, sparked protest. And you can get more of that protest on page 24. But the celebration galore, and that's what you get on page 18. Diri joins APC tags PDP shipping sink. Well, anyway, sinking ship, I'd rather call that. Well, anyway, let's leave the laugh and go to serious matters. Tinubu moves to appoint new ambassadors amid U.S. tension as President meets Tuga today, and U.S. federal government officials deep in talks. But you can get more of that talk on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's see if we take some other major leading story also on the front page of the Punch. We seem to have a lot of it. And, well, AMPP bloc sets a tough term to back Tinubu's 2027 bid. It's a major one on page 9. NDLEA discovers new cannabis variant California Loud in Lagos. And you can get more of that Loud story on page 5. OPS, Labour rejects 20,000 naira note. Whoa. Well, anyway, if that note comes, that means you have 5 of it in your pocket and you are quite having nothing but 100,000 naira. But anyway, get more of that story on page 21. But the story that you get on page 18 and also the picture of the day is governorship polls. Amepiton visit Anambra, party sign peace accord, or really peace accord. And really, we need all of that. So we do not have a breakdown of law and order, especially during our elections. Well, anyway, that's the much you can take from the Punch.
Yeah, let's check out for stories making it to the headlines of the Guardian newspaper. The lead story, Trump's threat sparks investors' fears as economists split on impact. Well, that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. ADC slams Tinubu over Trump's military threat, rising insecurity. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. PDP, police shot Wadata Plaza, Legacy House as Muhammad assumes office. You can read more of that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Togo, Nigeria, Benin, all Nigeria $20 million for electricity supplied in 6 months. That very story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see more leading stories still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. A federal government unveils 50 tax exemptions, relief to caution new fiscal reforms impact. That very business story is on page 19 of the Guardian newspaper. A report blames government officials for 74% attacks on journalists. Well, journalist life matters. Well, you can read more of that on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see if we take some more leading stories still at the front page. Resident doctors kick as federal government claims payments of 31 billion naira arrears. Okay, interesting. Well, you can get some of that on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Shake up in Navy as Abbas redeploys 65 rear admirals. That very story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Damagos camp tax defectors, betrayers as Shetima welcomes Diri into APC. That very story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Group hails court order on proposed PDP convention. Well, more of that story is on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And let's see what we have as the picture of the day. That's the Nigerian Executive Board, a member of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, in company of key government officials participating in the just concluded GCF ministerial meeting held in Doha, Qatar. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper.
Well, I trust you're having a nice time with us. So let's see if we go straight to Daily Trust. It is the next paper I would like to look at. And on the Daily Trust this morning, U.S. threats, what federal government should do. This according to Diplomat. We have conveyed our position. This is according to the House of Rep. But I'll implore you to read more of that story on page 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust. Well, let's see if we take some other leading one, a follow-up. 19 bandits killed in Kano as border attacks escalate, and we're quite disturbed that it looks as if the violence is now creeping into Kano. But I'll just tell you to calm down and read that story up on page 6. Parties, voters reject Niger local government poll, Bago's convoy attacked. And get more of the reason for that attack on page 20. At 1,422 naira per dollar, naira record highest gain in October. Well, anyway, that sharing news you can get on page 20. Let's see if we take some other major stories still on the front mass of, or rather the front part of the Daily Trust. Well, pro-Wike NWC faction takes over PDP secretariat is a major one on page 2. And also a major one, presidency cases on the rise in Bruno IDP camps. And who said those in camp can't fall in love? But get more of that story up on page 24. Nigerian stocks shed 244.9 billion naira amid Trump threats. And we could get more of that scary tales according to that on page 21. Strike, Tinubu orders immediate resolution. And many are saying hooray. But you get more of that story on page 7. But the picture of the day is that happened in front of the PDP secretariat in Wadata House. You can see protesters ready to storm the building with their, tools. It is, or those protecting to ensure that people that are not needed to come in do not come in. Well, where is the police? Well, we do know they convoyed, or rather, they locked up those doors and ensure that there was no breakdown of law and order. But anyway, that's the more we can take from the Daily Trust.
Yeah, let's see what the nation has for us this morning. The lead story. Diri, I joined APC to stop Bayelsa from being buried with PDP. And we have a rider to that. Shetima Akpabio Yewata, governors received defectors of ruling party. Well, more of that story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Let's take some more leading stories still at the front page of the Nation. Dear Mr. President, please do not let this 15% import tariff punish Nigerians again. Okay, well, you can read more of that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we have some more leading stories still at the front page of the Nation. Assets of 6 top banks hit 207 trillion naira. And the writer says experts linkage with MSMEs still weak. Well, more of that story is still on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Oyedele unveils 50 tax exemptions and relief. That's on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see what we have on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Drama as AG chair resumes at PDP headquarters. Well, as you can see, that story is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, still talking about the Elevate Africa 2025 that was held in Botswana last week, and that's the founder and the co-founder, which is His Excellency the Olu of Warri and the Olori, the Queen Consort of Warri Kingdom. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Nation newspaper. Let's see what the Nigerian Tribune has for us. The lead story: PDP crisis, Anyawu's faction takes over national secretariat. I have resumed today as acting chairman, says Abdurrahim, as police shot party office. Well, more of that story is on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. Yeah, let's take some more leading stories still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Stay away from Anambra election. IGP warns IPOB, ESN, and others. 6 parties sign peace accord. 2.8 million in voter register. This is coming from INEC chairman. Vote according to your conscience. Obi of Onitsha charges electorates. Well, more of that story is on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's take some more leading stories still at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. A federal government releases 50 exemptions, relief under new tax reform laws. Well, that very story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. 15% petroleum tax. Premature import restrictions may lead to supply shortage. Higher pump prices, LCCI warns. Well, more of that story is on page 6 of the Nigeria Tribune. Troops kill 19 bandits, a fuel incursion in Shanono local government in Kano. That very story is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. Africa loses $135 billion annually to lead poisoning. And this is coming from the World Health Organization. And you can read more of that on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Yeah, NSA chief, the service chiefs meet over Trump's stance on Nigeria. And that is also the picture of the day. Pursue diplomatic solution. Obi tells federal government. U.S. claim reflection of incorrect intelligence. This is coming from the NOA. ADC kicks against U.S. military threats. Adeleke seeks peaceful engagement between Nigeria, U.S. Afenifere calls on Nigerians to unite against foreign intervention. Opposition behind face-off. This is coming from Wiki. And more of that is on the page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune, and that is also the picture of the day showing the Nigeria's National Security Advisor in a strategic meeting with the service chiefs in Abuja yesterday. And this high-level gathering comes in response to the recent remarks by former U.S. President Donald Trump about Nigeria. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Nigerian Tribune.
Well, the Vanguard will be the last paper for us to look at. And on the Vanguard, just like the last story on the Nigerian Tribune, Trump, NSA service chief meet as U.S. president intensifies threat. Right after that, a ground operation, airstrike could be part of U.S. attack in Nigeria, says Trump. Chad short border with Nigeria. U.S. designation, consequence of incompetence, says Peter Obi. Governor Adeleke seeks diplomatic solution. Tinubu must not allow foreign military humanitarian intervention, says Afenifere. And ADC blames Tinubu for Nigerians blacklisting. Trump threat of military action could stroke more violence, erode investors' confidence. And this is according to experts. But I expect you to read more of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see if we take some other major leading stories still on the front page of the Vanguard this lovely Tuesday morning. Nigerian National Association of Resident Doctors, fourth federal government welfare claims, demand truth over friction. And you can get more of that story on page 25. Security men shot PDP secretariat amid escalating tension. And more of that tension you can get on page 8. Anambra, INEC vows enhanced resort management and credible polls. IGP warns IPOB, ESN against disruption. But don't disrupt your reading. Get more of that on page 11. Pension fund investment in federal government sureties or securities rise to 18.1% to about 15.8 trillion. And honestly, that story is on page 19. But let's see if we take some other major stories still on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. Yes, a lot seems to be. Oba Akiolu to Lagos government. Your demolition must have human face. And face that story up on page 10. Shake up as Navy redeploys 65 rear admirals. It's a very major one on page 9. 2027, after Ekiti, APC stakeholders more consensus option. And get more of that option on page 9. But anyway, I'll do this. I rarely do it, but I'll just feel we should. Let's go to Mr. and Mrs. column. Mr. is saying, couples call each other honey, but some don't know the full meaning. The man is the honey pot. And the woman, according to the woman, the honey mop. Well, anyway, the pot has it, but the mop seems to dig away from the pot. But anyway, let's leave all of that and go to the picture of the day. Is that of no other but another nude Papa Oyoyo into the APC. And we're talking about no other but the Bayelsa State Governor and Gift Governor. And we're talking about Diri is now with the APC. And I know a whole lot of celebration is already taking place in Bayelsa and will happen during the weekend. But that's much you can take from all the dailies this lovely morning. I will always implore you, if you find any that is truly enjoyable and you want to read up, well, do yourself a favor and go get the papers and read it all up. Well, everything seems to be centered on the issue of the recent threat of another person about President Donald Trump and saying that, well, if the federal government does not take action, he will in every way to protect cherished Christians. Well, that's a major one on almost all the dailies, and funny enough, something we'll be looking at later on this lovely edition of Viewpoint, and that will be on Dialogue on this lovely station. I'm talking about Atlantic TV. But what we'll do now, we'll go on that break, but when we come back, definitely, Dialogue will take center stage right here on Viewpoint.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Ajah, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
The 2023 Labour presidential candidate, Peter Obi, yesterday, Monday, said that the threat from the United States President Donald Trump to invade Nigeria with military force over Christian genocide claims should give every Nigerian serious concern. Obi stated this in a post on X 2 days after Trump said that if Nigeria does not stem the killings, the United States will attack, and it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. In an explosive post on his Truth Social platform on Saturday, United States President Trump said he asked the Pentagon to map out a possible plan of attack in Nigeria, 1 day after warning that Christianity was facing an existential threat in Africa's most populous country. Obi also expressed deep concern over Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, calling for diplomatic engagement between Nigeria and the United States. Also yesterday, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Larry Onilu, took a swipe at the President of the United States, saying his allegation of genocide is a failure of the United States intelligence, and wonder why another country feels it has the power to attack another in this guise. With the mounting tension between the federal government and the United States, many are already asking what better approach should be taken and would be needed to help diffuse the current situation. Well, this and more as it concerns the recent threats to engage the terrorists in Nigeria by the United States is what this edition of Dialogue is all about, and that is creating a harmonious relationship between the United States to end the current impasse. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on Dialogue, on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. We're looking at creating a harmonious relationship with the United States, especially at this time. There seems to be heightened tension. But anyway, I doubt if he's tense to talk about it. He looks more relaxed and ready to go. And I'm talking of no other person but our guest in the studio. And we're talking of no other person but Comrade Emeka Onwukocha. I called him Comrade, so the United States government will know he's not a military personnel of Nigeria. So in case where they come looking, they will not be looking for him. But all I'm saying is, you do know he's a comrade of high repute and also a member of the push for good governance and democracy in Nigeria. Comrade Emeka Wokucha, welcome to the show, and it's another lovely time for us to talk about things.
Yeah, Michael, thank you very much for that wonderful affiliation.
Yes, I needed to let them know. You are not of the Nigerian military. Okay, well, anyway, let's leave that. Now, before we go into what better way we need to do to especially diffuse the current tension brewing between Nigeria and the United States of America, I want us to first look at the statement coming from President Donald Trump, which he stated on his Truth platform just some days ago. And it concerns striking out the murderous terrorists that are killing Christians in Nigeria. Now, my question is, are Christian faith, especially in the North, really under threat? Or, just like the NOA director said, it's a misrepresentation of facts? Let's try and place that fact first in our push to really direct our discussion. Are Christians in the North facing an existential threat, or just like Larry Onulu, the director of the NOA, said yesterday, that, well, all of that is a misrepresentation of the real facts?
Yes, Michael, let me take it from this angle. The lives of Nigerians are facing existential threat in Nigeria.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Going by the recurring attacks, recurring insurgency, militancy as across board, the life of every Nigerian is under threat. In other words, the country is violating, the Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution that guarantees freedom of life to every Nigerian. And the country itself is still violating the same constitution on Section 14, subsection 2b, that says that the primary purpose of governance is what? The security
of life and property,
and security and welfare of the citizens. So the government is violating. In other words, the average life of Nigerians is under threat. If the life of Nigerians is under threat, is it the religion that is not under threat? So the answer is clear. If the life of the Nigerian is under threat in Nigeria, in our sovereignty called Nigeria, is it the religion that the people practice that is not in threat? So Christianity is under threat in this country. There is no petty name. In as much as the people's lives are under threat, so the religion is under threat. I think that is a simple answer to that question, Mr. Mike.
But the question still remains: is it only Christians that are being attacked in this decade-old war of Islamic extremists? Let's also state that fact, because that's where another question is. Yes, we do know Donald Trump said, well, he's going to in every way protect those cherished Christians, as he said it. But should we also not look at also other Nigerians that are being killed in all of these buhaha that seems to be coming on account of the Islamic extremists? So are Muslims not also being killed? Because just 2 days or 2 weeks ago, rather, we saw what happened in a mosque in the northern part of Castina. So let's understand that fact also. Are Muslims not also getting the crossfire, especially as it concerns this Islamic terrorists?
Yes, in as much as the terrorism in Nigeria, is not, how do I call it, one-faced thing. It cut across board. The Christians, have had their own fair share, of the harm, just as the Muslims have. But what we're saying here is that when the Muslims communities are attacked,
yes, didn't
you hear the community still come to shout blue murder, to wanting to protect that race? Yes, they come, they do. So you must protest, what you cherish. While the Christians are protesting their religion and protesting Christians, Muslims too, who are still falling under the bullets of these terrorists, are still protecting, are still shouting, saying we are being killed, please protect us. So, but in the case of Donald Trump, he has a personal interest for the Christians. So if those that have personal interest in the Muslims fail not to do anything, it is their own cup of tea. So nothing stops you from saying that the Muslims should not be killed if you have personal interest in them, knowing fully well that their life, should not go under the threat of the Islamic. So that Donald Trump is saying that he's concerned about Christians is a priority to him, to his government, to the laws of America. That Christians must be protected across the globe. So you cannot fault him for coming out to say, why must the Christians face persecution in a particular section of this globe? And if you're going by the narrative, by the killings, I mean, unless you want to like say, okay, let us deploy some very palatable adjective to qualify it. So when the lives of a people are constantly being killed, are they not facing persecution? What is a persecution about it? That is when a harm is being met on the people constantly, and there is no instrumentality of governance in place to checkmate and bring those who are perpetrating the crime to book. So it becomes a persecution, because it comes to recurring. And that is exactly what we have seen across Nigeria. Which Nigerian, representatives would come to tell us now that he's not paying about, the situation of security in this country, unless he intends not to be truthful, to himself. But the answer is glaring. The data stare everybody in the face. So the fact is that the security situation in this country is worrisome. It is killing, it is alarming. It is toxically deployed. And it is high time, even if not United States, it is high time Nigerians should wake up and call on the government to at least put a final death knell on this harm. Is it not enough? It's time. Since 2012 till now, we have been, it's always front, back, forth, back, and nothing has actually happened. It's as if the terrorists, are beyond the government control. And that is exactly what we have seen happening. So Donald Trump is expressing, his concern about how lives have been lost, more so when it concerns the Christians. So you cannot blame him. It's his own priority.
So yes. All you are saying is strike from the United States is quite justifiable.
It might not be justifiable because under United Nations Charter, the principles of United Nations Charter, under the Territorial Integrity, Act, no nation, should deploy force under attack or whatever they may call it against any nation.
That's the sovereignty of every nation.
Sovereignty of nation is sacrosanct. So United Nations does not have the right under that United Nations Charter to say, I want to invade Nigeria. Rather, what is recommended is state dialogue. So if they go doing that, that means there is a total violation of that principle, of the UN Charter. Because all of us, Nigeria, United Nations, we are all equal. And that charter made it possible that every member, has equal stake, irrespective of your size and power. So they don't really have, if they do that, they're just doing it at their own volition. And it's in total violation of United Nations Charter. And that's the truth about that.
But does the United Nations Charter not also talk about the sanctity of life and protecting it in every way possible?
Yes, it did say something about that. That is as in the circumstances under which a nation could, put that sovereignty under threat. But if that happens, if there's a need for United Nations to intervene, when the actions in that country is posing threat, international threat, they could intervene. But if they intervene, they are intervening as a union.
Is this not posing a threat?
It does.
That is now spilling over to other West African countries.
It does.
Chad spills over to Chad, spills over to Cameroon, spills over to Benin, and all of that.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Obviously, it does. But where it might not be sanctioned is that no nation, United Nations is holding just a stake, just as any other tiny
United
nation.
States, you mean?
United States is holding just a stake, just as other tiny nations within that United Nations community is holding the same stake. So he does not have the veto power to do that, unless the UN comes as a body to implement this or to effect this. Then it becomes ideal. And
now talking about effecting this, just yesterday we also saw that the Canadian government also brought up this same issue and talked about Christians being persecuted immensely in Nigeria. Now we're talking about more nations. Do you see this gathering momentum and at the end pushing other nations to line up with the United States to take decisive action against these murderous bandits and terrorists?
You see, anything done within United Nations Charter and activities, they do it in line with the laid down procedures. It's procedural.
Okay.
Not minding the sentiment of United Nations currently now, right? Other nations may still share same sentiment. But if it must be a collective thing, it must come under the body of UN.
Okay.
Because if any individual state champions it, it amounts to violation of that act. Just as it says that every nation must refrain from the use of force, either to invasion or whatever, on any state. So, I think if we must respect that, I think United States should deploy other techniques, other methods, to actually going about it. But if they, just as Trump, had uttered his word, putting Pentagon, put them under notice, that
just trying to see if there a change will
come. Just try to see if there could be a change. And for me, he's acting out of his own personal volition. Because, these countries wield so much power. When you mention UN, automatically you're talking about United States of America. They belong to the power blocks. And most times they can veto certain things and do certain things and nothing will happen. And it is on that pedestal that Trump is acting. You recall what happened between US and Iraq? Yes. Even when US,
in 1991,
even when US was cautioned not to invade Iraq, they went ahead to invade Iraq, and nothing happened. That tells you that there are the big masquerades, within that committee of nations. So you must respect their sentiment because they can do anything. And water mighty whose ox is God. And that is just it. That is the state. And that is the venom. That is the power that US is wielding. And Trump being himself, believes in his actions. And he believes that if he speaks, other nations cowards. And that's exactly the way it is at the international scene. So that is...
But would it not be right in saying that these persons are really persecuted? Would it not be correct in saying that these persons are being almost cleared out of existence? We've seen some very terrible videos and all of that. Well, I'll just plead with you to hold on. Well, in case you're joining us, it's Dialogue on Atlantic TV, and today on the show, we're talking about the recent tension that seems to be brewing on account of that very statement coming from no other but President Donald Trump, saying that, well, if the Nigerian government will not take action against the murderous terrorist bandits ravaging some part of the country, well, he will be forced to do so. And we also do know that he has already instrumented the Minister of War in America to stand ready, as much as Pentagon should also map up or come up with a plan that would effect a possible vicious and indeed, like he said, a very needed attack on these murderous terrorists or bandits. That's what we're still having as a major one today. We're talking about what needs to be done in every way to diffuse the tension that seems to be brewing on account of that statement between the Nigerian government and also that of the United States of America. But anyway, he's not in America, but right here in the studio with us, and we're talking of still our guests right here in the studio. I'm talking of no other person, Emeka Owokocha, helping us to make sense out of all of it. Now, let's understand. Many persons will say, yes, this has been happening for more than a decade now, in all honesty. But according to our figures, at least 2,266 people were killed in the first half of 2025 compared to 1,083 people that were killed also in the first half of 2024, and 2,194 that was even killed in the total of 2024. Now, my question is, do you feel the high rate numbers of people that were killed in the first half of 2025 is another reason that is bringing this recent push from the United States of America? Yeah, it has been happening for decades, but the recent numbers seems to be staggering and seems to be high. So do you feel that these recent killings, high rate of killing, is now also the reason that is dragging world attention into this very issue?
The high rate of killings, for me, is no longer news or history.
For us, Nigeria.
Yeah. And international communities are very, very, they're very, very diligent, in getting this data straight. What is happening there is, UN, has been following up the trends, and over time we have seen complaints, from Nigerians, whose loved ones, had been killed following these senseless attacks. And the complaints most times is that, there's always, an attempt to wipe us out. Mostly the Christian communities, they cry most times to the government.
Yes.
And most of them, make petitions to the UN. So make petitions to the United States. detailing their pains and their agony. So over time, this data have been collated. And when this data has been collated, it's not as if that at a point, a solution was brought to play.
Yes.
It even gets worse. And the complaints keep coming. And United Nations, like United States, I do tell you, it's a country that puts its ears on ground. When you talk about fundamental human rights, the rule of law, it starts and ends there, if I must tell you the gospel truth. And these things are total violation of the fundamental rights and rule of law, which are the foundational pillar of a democratic government, upon which the sovereignty of every nation stands. So for them, even based on that, it's even enough for them, to want to call the government's consigned to order.
Okay.
Even if not really invading, to issue a threat, asking them to act strenuously and decisively.
Yeah.
Because from the manner our governments over time have been handling this insurgency and threats to life of Nigerians, it's mind-boggling. Mr. Mike, I want to tell you, it is more or less like the government is caught napping. It's more or less like our security architectures, are overwhelmed. It's more or less like, the insurgency has come to stay. It's now rooted and it has found its way into the body politics of Nigeria. But it's so alarming that these things are solvable. You don't need rocket science to solve it. It already requires political will. Like I do say here, put the money where the money should be spent. The people's welfare is the primary motive, primary purpose of governance. So you must prioritize their welfare, you must prioritize their security. But are they doing that in this country? The answer is no, Mr. Mike. So all these challenges have been left over the years. They have become a mountain now, staring the country in the face. So to deal with it now becomes a Herculean task. So what the government should do is, please, you can't continuously do something the same way and expect a different result. So let us prove to the world that we are pained, that no Nigerian life is worth being lost under such senseless killing or attack or whatever thing you may call it. But if we could actually, operate on the sacrosanctity of life as the Constitution has guaranteed. See, any one Nigerian that dies is enough for this country to rise up and unleash the mayhem on whoever that perpetrated that act. But is that what we are saying now? It is not. Most times these issues are treated with kid gloves. People that perpetrated the act, most times, you even see them walk free man in the street as if, the death of Nigerians, do no longer matter to the government, even to the persons who we believe are our due representatives. Yeah. So it's annoying, it's alarming. So the international communities over time have been watching this trend, so alarming trend. It appears these guys, treat these issues with kid gloves. So why would we allow human life to be wasted under these very deplorable circumstances? So we must act, because they have the power, they have the technology, they have the finances, they have the commitment, they have the manpower, they have the military across board to intervene, if nothing, at least to save humanity from this annihilation. Only that alone has given them the credibility to wanting to tell Nigeria that if you do not do something decisively, do you even know what the United States is saying? It's not saying we are coming to attack Aso Roku. We are coming to attack the terrorists and demobilize them.
Yeah, this brings me to my next question. And in talking about my next question, I want us now to look at Daniel Bala, who reacted. He's the special advisor on policy communication to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he said it will be diplomatically unacceptable. I'm using his own words, yes, not mine. He said it will be diplomatically unacceptable if the U.S. undertake any military operation in Nigeria without the explicit consent of the federal government, which I consider, like I said, one of the strongest response yet to that very threat from President Donald Trump, saying he would definitely do something about it. But I'm now being forced to ask, should we not be on the same page on this issue? rather than making it look as if we are going to war on account of this? Because is it not giving the terrorists a red eye, a bloody nose, something that both of the countries should be thinking of doing? Should we not be on the same page on this rather than quarrel about it? That's my question.
It's a case of the country not acting when it was necessary.
Should we not be happy now that we're having the world power, the number one country on the planet, the most powerful country on planet Earth, wanting to help us deal with this issue? Should we not be a thing of gratitude rather than a thing of, hey, what do you think?
The other Nigerians that are maimed, who are seriously losing confidence in the country, losing public trust in the country, you know, will be happy to hear this kind of action, you know, US is wanting to take. The average Nigerian who had been maimed and who will been affected and who will still be maimed, because there is no mechanism on ground to checkmate the incursions of these militants, insurgents, you know, marauders, call them whatever name. There's none. There's none. So when they hear this, it appears a succor is about coming. And also when the United States says, we are coming to attack the terrorists, those responsible for these atrocities, only that word alone will kind of, you know, re-engineer your mind, if, you know, telling you that there is still hope to live. Because those who are still living cannot guarantee their tomorrow. That's the truth. In mostly the north central states, Benue, you know, Plateau, or whatever. I'm telling you, even the northeast. So if you were a Nigerian living in those areas and you're hearing this, would it not serve as a ray of hope to you? So the Nigerian government ought to have be circumspect, proactive. That's the sense of thinking ahead. Because when these problems, you know, we had become Herculean before our noses, we ought to have gone to the US. Because these guys are master planners. They are experts. Forget it. In terrorism incursions. Why can't we, you know, liaise with them? Let us seek their assistance. All we want is that this devilish thing must stop. Whichever way we stop it, we don't want to know. But did we do that? Rather, we are all saying as if, you know, we can deal our internal problems ourselves. We can deal our internal problems. You can now see what it took before US was able to even sell the Tucana jet to Nigeria. You can imagine the rigmarole. You can imagine the diplomatic role. All those things ought not to have happened. It's because our leaders are not doing what they're supposed to do at the right time. And again, not prioritizing, you know, the life of Nigerians. I have told you, Section 33 guarantees law of life. Mike, look at what's happening in this country. Life could be lost. Nothing will happen. The best government will come is we are sorry, we are doing something. Before you know it, they just create an avenue for mass grief, and after that session, it has ended. Before you know, in another time, it will happen. In another time, it has concurrently been happening. To the extent that we even have our senior citizens in this country sometime asking Nigerians to do what? To protect themselves.
Okay, now still talking about protecting ourselves. If I can get this correctly, now when we look at 2024, the fiscal year of 2024, the United States of America supported us with aid assistance, greatly on security angle of amounting to $902.96 million to be exact. That's what they use in supporting, or close to $1 billion United States dollars in support, especially where as it concerns security assistance. Now, I'm now also being forced to ask, because many Nigerians are saying, okay, instead of the Americans going ahead and attack, can't all of this collaboration come between we and them? I'm talking about our military and that of America. Give us the needed weapons. Give us the information. Give us the guidance. Give us all we seem to need to help defeat these marauding killers that seems to be enjoying the blood of every Nigerian. So would that not be a better approach also to take? Because that's what's also being think among the government circle, that rather than you carrying out that attack, give us the weapons to defeat this.
Okay, but I love you, my creed.
Well, I wonder why you're laughing.
Yes, you see, this thing is highly diplomatic. I don't mind the way Trump deployed the word that he would attack Nigeria. You know, people are just looking at that word attack. You know, but in the trueness, the man was pained. At the point he deployed that word, you know, he was pained.
Yeah.
And also he said Nigeria is considered a peculiar country to them. Peculiar in the sense that particular country, in the sense that we hold a very important stake.
Yes.
You know, among Committee of Nations.
And
no right-thinking leader in the likes of Trump would want Nigeria to go under.
Yes,
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, sir, why can't we rephrase the narratives?
Okay.
Okay, you know, let us go and meet United States now. You know, instead of the attack, we are opening the window of collaboration.
Okay.
Can't we rephrase the narrative, sir?
Okay.
You know, kill that attack thing. They remove the attack. You know, bring in collaboration. You know, think ahead of US. Be smarter than them. Go and meet them, and that we are offering a window for collaboration, so that this power, this strength you are bringing now, we have to want to domesticate it, right? So that we can actually deal decisively with terrorism in our territory. Can't we do that?
But would there be that trust?
What trust are you talking about?
The trust of America coming.
That the attack now, they're going to you know, redirect the attack to
no, that's not what I mean.
Yes,
now the question, if you still take your minds to 2020,
yes,
and I can still remember in the month of September or October, the United States government came to Nigeria,
yes,
and rescued an American,
yes,
that was kidnapped in Niger,
yes,
and was being rooted deep into Nigeria.
Yes.
And they did not inform our security agents till after the whole incident. So my question, would there be an opportunity of trust? Is there a window of trust between the United States government and Nigeria on account of the issues of security?
So what trust are you talking about? If both
trust
of us,
on
if
intelligence,
I'm saying what was say, build your intelligence mechanism. So if you are defective, who would you blame it on? What I'm saying is a collaboration, and collaboration must come based on documented principles on how these things could be deployed.
Okay.
And if this is done, both of them, you know, are going to deploy, you know, their experts at both ends, Nigeria experts, United States experts, to monitor the operation. No one is going to lord it over the other. So it is a well simplified and agreed platform or template of operation. So if they could do that, the trust they're talking about there is that our professionals, you know, are they thorough? If they are thorough, they are there to protect the Nigerian interest. Just like the United States, you know, professionals as well. Yeah. We still protect the interest of the United States, but the primary motive is that the focus, the goal is that we are coming to do what? To finish these ugly guys that are perpetrating this crime in our territory. So, can that be done? Can that be achieved? So, just remove that attack that is causing all this buhaha. You know, try and massage their ego. Because you know why? You need to be intelligent in playing international politics or rather international diplomacy. I have told you that the United States is a country, you know, that don't mind whose ox is God if you want to do anything. I say, well, if you mention United Nations, you are talking about United States. They are the big father. They are the big masquerades. I have told you. They can do anything, you know, and don't mind. You can go to blazes. If you ain't like, let them say anything they want to say. They don't mind. You saw it happen in Iraq. You saw it happen in Iran. So these guys are persons and entities that we should respect. And they have garnered that respect across the world. And not just garnered that respect. These guys are sophisticated across board. So we must be intelligent enough to be able, you know, to adapt some of the idealism that are useful to us. No, not just holding on sovereignty. You are talking sovereignty. Are you not violating your sovereignty in our own territory here? Because that sovereignty is built solidly on fundamental rights, rule of law, and that sovereignty frowns at corruption, manipulation of elections, and all this is not happening. So internally, are we not violating our sovereignty itself? So the issue of sovereignty is more or less like, we are only trying to promote our ego. Leave ego alone. Is insecurity not killing us? It's killing us. Do we desire to kill it? Yes. Not even them assuming. Do Nigerians desire to kill it? Yes, Nigerians desire. Let us kill insecurity and leave other things we are talking about.
Okay, well, anyway, if you feel you are with that mindset, I want us to go to the mindset of Peter Obi when he spoke yesterday. And he said the best way to end this impasse is for dialogue. And he called on the federal government to see how they can, in every way, open the channel to talk to the United States of America to end this impasse. And funny enough, in the news yesterday, we learned that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would be seeing J.D. Vance and the Vice President of the United States just today. But it's only also early this morning, that the presidency came out to say, well, that is not true, that there will be no meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Vice President of the United States or the President of the United States in the immediate. We don't know, maybe that will be created in later and to deal with this impasse. But my question now is, what will be, in your own honest assessment, yes, you've talked we should kill our ego, reach out to see collaboration,
yes,
but what would be the best way to end this impasse at the moment? For you, what should it be? Should it be dialogue, as Mr. Obi said? Should it be us bringing out the olive branch, knowing that the help is going to come to us? What should be the way forward now, so we do not in every way continue to increase the tension?
Yeah, it's dialogue. The dialogue, and I told you, I said kill the attack. Rephrase that narrative and present it, make it sellable and acceptable to all. Okay. Remove the attack. Be smart now. Be smarter than the thinking of the United States now, right? Readapt that document. Rephrase it. Okay. Present it as what? A collaboration.
Okay.
Sure you understand. If you present it, United States will not decide and say, yes, these guys have started listening. Collaboration as yes, we are willing, we are happy to accept your ideas, your superpower, your mechanisms on how to help our own internal mechanisms to deal decisively with this terrorism. I think if Nigeria could do that, it's not the best way to go. Because ordinarily, do we not need the help? If I didn't come to say it at this platform, do we not need the help? How long have we been on this road? And there has not been any tangible sources that some local communities in this country at the time went as far as signing agreement with terrorists. Do you know what that means? That is the ones the media could bring to public space. So that will tell that a lot of things are happening, right? The issue is that it appears we are overwhelmed by this militancy, by these attacks, these Islamic groups, insurgency, or whatever you may call it, across the country. But it is high time we stopped, treating the issues with kid glove. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Have we had national security summit over time? I'm asking you.
It's a question.
It's a question. That means the security issues in this country, do not actually matter to our leaders. That tells you. Do you know that one Nigerian, I want to imagine in the streets of Texas, they said 100 Americans were kidnapped. What are you talking about? It's unheard of. Yes. Do you know why it's unheard of? Because these guys have been prepared, for the unknown tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they are putting their money where the money should be put to ensure that the welfare and the protection of the citizens are guaranteed. But our leaders here, there's a total departure from that narrative. So instead of putting the money where the money should be spent to protect the Nigerian sovereignty, as they are shouting sovereignty, are you going to protect the sovereignty? That our borders are so porous that insurgents, militants come from small West African countries here into our country and start causing mayhem. We can't even protect our border. You are talking about internal sovereignty. So what are we talking about?
Okay, now looking at it, I know you're really versed about this issue, and you really feel dialogue should be the way forward in really dealing with it. But let's just assume, and my assumption will not be wrong. Let's assume now that mediation breaks down and fails. Do you see President Donald Trump going ahead with his plan in attacking the terrorists on his own without the consent of Nigeria? In case, I'm just saying, peradventure, mediation fails. Do you see him doing it? Or you just feel it's just a talk to put us on our toes?
If somebody tells you that Donald Trump is a drunk, would you not tell the person to go back to bed that he woke up from the wrong side of the bed? These guys are men that mean their words. I have told you there is a president among presidents. See, Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, was the one that raised the emotion, that raised the alarm, that Christians in Nigeria are being persecuted. I went ahead to promulgate a bill, two of us, and that ignited the fire. To telling you that the government of the United States listens to the parliamentarians. So it is more or less like, you know, a coordinated affair. So what touches one touches all. So even, I think I saw on your newspaper review, the man Trump is re-emphasizing on what he said. Making plans already. Look at what you are talking about. You think, I have told you, if somebody told you that comes to tell you that Donald Trump is a drug, would you not tell the person that he should go back to his bed, that he woke up from the wrong side of the bed? These are men, actionable men. These are men that are critical in thinking. They are serious about governance. They know what governance is, and these are men that can do all to protect the sanctity of life. He is pained. He is seeing Nigerians, in quotes, Christians, as Americans, as a people that are supposed to live. Are they not? Are we not supposed to live? Are they forget, even remove the Christian thing, the religion thing? The people that are falling under the bullets or the attackers, are they not Nigerians like you and I? So how would you feel? So you like now you join here tomorrow that I was working on the road, one stupid militant just gunned me down, and nothing is done. So how would you feel? You will lament, and lament. So that's exactly what it is. The only thing is that we should see these our fallen heroes, our fallen brothers, as our own. They are our compatriots. So what Trump is doing now is more or less like what we citizens ought to have done over time. We ought to have risen up to call our government to order that insecurity must be ended in this country.
Now, talking about ending it, because time is not also a friend of ours, especially when we're having such important and needed discussion. And I'm now also being curious to ask you. Just last week, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu changed the guard of civil, or rather service chiefs in the country, and brought in new service chief. Just maybe all of these is, well, it looks as if they had the foresight that such will come. But I could still also remember when they were being sworn in last week that he gave them a directive to indeed give a red eye and a bloody nose to the terrorists. Now, he has given the directive. Do you see this new service chief with the present pressure on ground, with the meeting we know they had with the NSA yesterday? Do you see them taking the bull by the horn and ending this problem rather than having a foreign power intervene in it? Do you see them? They might
want to take the bull by the horns, but they will be cowed when they found out that the bull does not have the horn.
Oh, come on.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, decisively, patriotically, they might want to take that bull by the horn and finish the whole thing. But on getting there to really execute the task, you find out that yes, there's a bull, but no horn is found on the head. So where would you hold?
Oh, come on.
So this is what I'm telling you, sir. We had a systemic failure. There's a rot across board, sir. If we are willing, if we can tell ourselves the truth, let us begin to deal with the rots. I have told you here, security issues is not a mean investment. Nigeria is not investing enough in security. I have told you, it's not. Migrate, if you want to wire this facility with CCTV, I know how much it's going to cost the establishment. It's not a mini project. Let us, put our money where we should put our money to achieve a result. We spend money on frivolities too much. Whereas the main issue that are calling for attention are left, are treated with levity, with kid groups. That is not what is happening in this country. The military you are talking about, the police you are talking about, the air force you are talking about, the navy you are talking about, how well motivated, how well prepared in terms of platforms, equipment, or whatever. Take the police for instance. What you have in the street, are they not ragtag police officers? Are you not telling me that every policeman you see in the street, when he woke up, his intention was to come to the road and start collecting money? It's because the system has failed and the government has refused to do what? To fix the rot in the system. So it appears that we do not prioritize, not we, they themselves, do not prioritize good governance. Everything starts and ends at good governance, Mr. Mike. So if the president is serious, let him organize a security parliament where Nigerians will now come and bring in white papers on how the issues can be fixed, and he must be determined to fix them, deploy money where money should be put, and not spending money on frivolities like we have seen.
Okay. Well, anyway, I really need to stop you there because time is not a friend, and I would have loved to ask more questions because we talked about us not spending so much as it concerns security.
We are not.
In our last budget, about 6.35 trillion was spent in security. When in even 2024, we had about 3.58 trillion. So we almost doubled our military spending.
Nominal value. The real value, Look at the inflationary trend. You have not brought it to play. It's for that amount is starting to compare to what is spent last.
Well, anyway, I will not make you be an economist on the show that we're talking about security and tension. But what I will do rather to you now is to thank you so much for adding your voice to this lovely discussion. And I would really say we really appreciate your insight into it, and our prayers is, well, just like if we're giving that advice to the federal government to see how they can dialogue rather than this new aggressive tone that we're hearing from flying from different quarters, the need for dialogue, especially as Peter Obi said yesterday, and also our guest Emeka Owokocha is also emphasizing today on the show. But all the same, thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Mr. B. Thank you for you guys. You guys are doing greatly well.
Well, thank you so very much. Well, anyway, it's more like a wrap for us today on the show, but you do know the discussion and the conversation does not end here. And now, let it keep continuing on our different social media platforms. They're already there on your screen. Let us get to hear from you what you feel the federal government needs to do to end this recent impasse, or rather end or dozen the tension that seems to have rose just recently on account of what President Donald Trump said 2 days back on his X handle, saying that, well, if the federal government does not take the bull by the horn, undermining Emeka Awokocha feels the cow doesn't have any, that they would have to indeed attack and indeed see how they can protect, as he said, those cherished Christians. We'll cherish your comment, we'll cherish your insight into all of that. So go drop it on our different social media platforms. Let's get to hear your take. And also you might be really surprised that I might really be thanking you always as you do, and also reading out your comments and contribution. But for me, Michael Gobadia, it's a quick wrap. Remember, the news will come around the hour and will be trending, not just on security issues, on many issues when Mercy Arabo comes around to give you more that seems to be happening on the social media. But for me, Michael Gobadia, bye for now.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Rukotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap-up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. I'm from an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different. And nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl-child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl-child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have dared that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. we have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warrior Child, like I said, I represent the brand Warrior Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warrior Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to cheer you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
I am SP Dafe Bright, and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM pin. The moment they cannot get the SIM pin, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM pin and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM pin. Your SIM pin is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM pin. If you cannot enter your SIM pin, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM pin. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save 9. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to call. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejure. Here are our top stories. Health Minister clarifies House officers, not civil servants. JAMB warns varsities, stop manipulating candidates' choices. Security operatives seal PDP secretariat, Legacy House amid leadership tussle. Nigeria's gas dream fading as flaring surges again. Tension rises as Chad shuts border with Nigeria over U.S. threats. Lamine Yamal Mbappe headline 2025 FIFA Pro World 6. Now to the news in full. The federal government has clarified that medical and dental house officers cannot be placed under the civil service scheme because they are not full-time government employees. Salako explained that house officers are recent medical graduates undergoing a mandatory 1-year internship, not permanent staff, and are therefore ineligible for civil service benefits such as pensions. He warned that including them in the scheme could create serious administrative and financial complications as their engagement lasts only 12 months. The minister added that the internship arrangement also applies to nurses, pharmacists, and physiotherapists, and is designed strictly for professional training, not long-term employment. Dr. Salako further noted that the controversy over creating a consultant cadre from non-medical doctors predates the current administration. Meanwhile, the strike by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors continues, with negotiations ongoing to resolve the dispute and restore normal hospital services across the country. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, made this known at a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, addressing one of the key demands of striking resident doctors. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Issa Onilu, has dismissed claims by the United States that Christians are being targeted in Nigeria, describing the allegation as another failure of American intelligence. Speaking during the joint security briefing at the NOA headquarters in Abuja, Issa Onilu said Nigeria's security situation was being deliberately misrepresented, insisting that the government remains committed to protecting all citizens regardless of faith. He cited the recent shake-up in the military leadership as proof of the administration's seriousness in tackling insecurity nationwide. The NOA boss accused the U.S. of repeating past intelligence blunders seen in Iraq and Libya, saying this latest claim of Christian genocide is both false and unfair to Nigeria. Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor and newly appointed service chiefs are expected to brief the media on the country's security outlook later today. The United States first listed Nigeria as a country of particular concern in 2020 before lifting it in 2021. The fresh redesignation has now reignited debate over religious freedom and America's understanding of Nigeria's complex security challenges. Issa Onilu was reacting to Nigeria's recent redesignation by Washington as a country of particular concern, following comments by former U.S. President Donald Trump, who accused Nigerian authorities of turning a blind eye to the killing of Christians. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has cautioned Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions against coercing high-ranking candidates to abandon their preferred programs for less subscribed ones. The board alleged that some institutions, particularly one in the southwest and another in Abuja, have been using internal school portals to pressure top candidates to switch programs, a move JAMB says is illegal and outside the Central Admissions Processing System, CAPS. The agency warned that all admission processes must be carried out strictly through CAPS, and any alteration done outside it would be deemed unauthorized. Candidates who agree to such changes, JAMB stressed, do so at their own risk, as the board will not be held liable for the consequences. Meanwhile, regulatory actions have reportedly begun to address the infractions and protect candidates' interests in the ongoing 2025 admission cycle. JAMB reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining transparency, accountability, and fairness in Nigeria's admission process. The board advised candidates to ignore any invitation to change programs through unofficial portals, warning that institutions found guilty may face sanctions. In a statement released on Monday by its public communication advisor, Fabian Benjamin, JAMB described the act as unethical and a deliberate attempt to distort the merit-based admission system. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, took a dramatic turn on Monday as security operatives sealed off the party's national secretariat, Wadata Plaza, and the Legacy House in Abuja, following the controversial emergence of Abdul Rahman Mohammed as acting national chairman. The lockdown came just hours after Mohammed's faction announced his assumption of office, a move that deepened the already simmering division within the PDP's National Working Committee. Party insiders say the security presence is a preemptive measure to prevent violence, while others see it as a sign of worsening instability within the opposition party. Staff at the Secretariat later staged a protest describing the situation as total confusion, vowing not to resume work until the leadership crisis is resolved. Meanwhile, loyalists from both camps have retreated to undisclosed locations for strategy meetings as calls for calm echo within the party hierarchy. As at news time, both the PDP Secretariat and Legacy House remained sealed under tight security, leaving Nigeria's main opposition party once again at a crossroad. Heavily armed officers stormed both locations in the early hours, ordering staff and journalists out before locking the gates and taking positions around the buildings. The move, according to sources, followed intelligence reports of a possible clash between rival factions of the party. There was chaos in the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja on Monday as protesters loyal to the Wike-backed faction stormed Wadata Plaza, demanding that the Umar Damagum-led National Working Committee vacate office immediately. Chanting solidarity songs, the protesters insisted they were reclaiming the party's secretariat for the Abdul Rahman-led faction. In a show of force, the group loyal to the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, announced that it had suspended the Damagum-led National Working Committee and formally taken over the national chairman's office. Addressing journalists, Mohammed Abdul Rahman vowed to unite and reposition the party ahead of the next general election, promising to work for peace and party cohesion. Meanwhile, party loyalists aligned with Damagum have dismissed the takeover as illegal, insisting that the PDP's constitution does not recognize any parallel leadership. As the power tussle continues, the once dominant opposition party faces yet another test of unity, with both camps claiming legitimacy at the top. The protest followed last week's emergence of Mohammed Abdul Rahman as factional acting national chairman, a move that deepened the leadership crisis rocking the main opposition party. Security operatives were quickly deployed to prevent clashes between rival groups. You're watching our daily news roundup. We'll go for a short break. When we return, more news stories on the business front.
My name is Desaka, comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh Baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. Now on the business front. Nigeria's goal of powering homes and industries through gas is under renewed threat as gas flaring continues to rise despite worsening electricity supply across the country. The rise in flaring comes amid declining crude oil production, which has dropped from 1.71 million barrels per day in July to 1.58 million barrels per day by September. Electricity generation companies say they can supply up to 8,000 megawatts if gas is made available, but the national grid barely sustains 5,000 megawatts. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry warns the trend poses a major economic risk, citing vandalism, downtime, and weak regulation. Meanwhile, the federal government insists its Decade of Gas initiative remains on course, targeting 2030 to transform Nigeria into a gas-driven economy. As gas flaring worsens and industries groan, energy analysts say Nigeria's clean energy ambition is being undetermined unless urgent investments are made in pipelines, processing, and pricing reforms. Latest data from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission shows gas flaring rose by 10% in September 2025, reaching over 16 million standard cubic feet, enough to power dozens of small-scale power plants. The wasted gas, valued at about $451 million, comes at a time millions of Nigerians remain without steady power and manufacturers depend on costly diesel to run operations. The 14th edition of the Africa International Film Festival, AFRIF, has officially opened in Lagos, celebrating the fusion of music and film under the theme Rhythms of the Continent, the Afrobeats film movement. The Afri Film and Content Market, running concurrently from November 3rd to 6th, positions Lagos as Africa's creative capital, offering pitching sessions, deal rooms, and industry panels on financial and intellectual property. Afri founder Chioma Ude says the market is a sustainable hub for African filmmakers, ensuring art meets business. This year also marks a major international breakthrough, with Afri partnering the Cannes Film Festival's March to Film to give selected African projects direct access to the global market. The festival opened with a Pan-African thriller, Three Cold Dishes, co-executive produced by Burna Boy and actress Osas Ighodaro, and will close with a documentary, Tuki, From Roots to Bayou. Afri 2025 also features over 90 films and honors industry icons with the newly renamed Herbert Wigwe Award for Excellence. Organizers say this year's edition is more than a film showcase. It's a bold statement of Africa's growing creative economy and its global potential. The festival, which runs from November 2nd to 8th, has also unveiled a groundbreaking film and content market, the first of its kind in Nigeria, designed to connect African creators with investors, distributors, and global buyers. Chad has closed its border with Nigeria following reports of a possible U.S. military action against Abuja ordered by President Donald Trump. Counterinsurgency expert Zagazolu Makama confirmed the development in the post on X, revealing that Chadian President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno ordered a total military lockdown against the Nigerian